mixer and continuing that. And so that's already, that's happening.
Okay. Any other comments on vision? I want to try to keep this moving along too. We've got a number of guiding principles. Joe?
Just a couple quick comments, Jim. I think this is a good vision statement, and I don't want to kind of be the downer on it, but I look at this and I've seen a number of different vision statements and other comp plans, number of different comp plans, and I think a lot of the words in here that are being used, you're going to see them across the board. I guess I think back to that first public input meeting and some of the things I heard there, I think could maybe be tied into this vision statement to make it a little bit more specific to Fargo. I guess a couple of things that I'm thinking is, one thing that really stood out in my mind was, kind of the comments towards transformation. People are looking for a transformation on, how our transportation system functions, how transit is provided, how our bike head system, things of that nature. I don't think this is homogenous, per se to a number of different communities the way the statement is written. I don't want to go that route by any means, but I think it can maybe use some tweaks to make it a little bit more meaningful from a Fargo perspective. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but that's kind of what I see.
Yeah, I think that's some great comments, Joe. I know one of the things we were looking at here, and this could be maybe any city, USA, with the vision statement, but we've got, and this is what I want to go into in a moment here, is guiding principles that maybe get a little more fleshing out some of those very specific things that we're hearing about transforming some of those different issues that we have in our city. And so with that, we're taking your comment, and kind of the thought here is that we'll go back and try to, I don't want to wordsmith this here, but we're going to take back and try to pull some of the comments that you made and rework this a little bit. I want to move into those guiding principles. The first that we have is water. And we do have in your, one of the handouts that you have, the main document that you have, it's got a blue cover on it. I don't see the title on it. Nope. Yeah, that one right there, the community vision document. Within that, there actually are the vision statement and the guiding principles if you want to take a look at that. But this particular under water, Fargo will create a permanent flood protection, ensure water quality and supply for the future, and celebrate water by embracing the Red River of the North and integrating green stormwater infrastructure into the fabric of the city. So this is really our kind of first shot at dealing with the guiding principles related to water. We like the idea of interfacing not only the issue about flood protection, but also looking at water as an asset and how you tie those together. So with that, I'll open that up about any comments or concerns that maybe the group has about this guiding principle. John.
And Jim, maybe while everybody's thinking about that, I just want to add on to what you were saying a little bit earlier about how the vision statement could be applicable to other communities. And there certainly is an element of truth to that, and it's something that we talked about as a team. But what we ended up deciding was that we were using language that came directly from community meetings and really seemed to resonate with people. And so for those of us that see this kind of thing more frequently, there are certainly some common themes there, but for those that don't, it really seemed to mean a lot to them. And I think you're also right in that the guiding principles are where this becomes something that's more of a tailored approach. Not that, I mean, the vision statement came directly from the meetings. There's a lot that we can still build on in these guiding principles from that, but where it's pretty clear that this is applying directly to Fargo comes more from the guiding principles than from the vision statement.
Thanks, Stephen. A good comment. John, did you have a comment about the guiding principle?
I would just, maybe this is covered by through the use of the word supply, but for good reason. We're obviously focusing on too much water. Again, we don't have enough water. And so it seems to me that and maybe the word supply, that ensures supply for the future, gets to that time, which certainly is going to come again. Cycles occur.
Right. Other comments?
I agree with John. One thing I think we could maybe add to that is I think Utility and Bruce Grubb's really done a good job with water conservation, and maybe just by having that conservation portion in that, it's not just on the downside, it's just to treat that precious resource. But I think maybe something about water conservation in that sentence might be good.
Jim, Bruce Grubb here. One other thing that as I look at this, and John brought up water supply, What most people, I think, from a water utility perspective in the city of Fargo don't understand is how important the Cheyenne River is to us. And it oftentimes gets forgotten. Now in flood fighting, it's not on the front burner because of some flood protection measures there, but it is an issue. And I would like, if possible, to add the Cheyenne River to this mix too, because on an annual basis, from a drinking water supply perspective, we use the Red River about 60% of the time and the Cheyenne River about 40% of the time, and I don't think most people understand that.
That's a great comment, Bruce. I was just reminded that since we've got Stephen on the Skype and over the phone, if you can, when you do speak, try to talk into the microphone, otherwise having a hard time picking up that. Any other comments related to water? Okay, in the sake of time, I think I'll move on to the energy. Fargo will aggressively seek innovative strategies to support national energy independence. The community will find energy savings through efficiency measures and invest in renewable sources for the future. Thoughts or concerns? Did we nail this one?
Jim, if I might one more time, I was tasked with writing the energy section for this comp plan and have been struggling greatly doing that. And in my mind, this energy piece is kind of a two-legged stool. One is energy use, and the other is energy production, and they're a little bit separate and distinct. Energy efficiency and conservation and buildings and transportation and those types of things is one issue. The production of energy is another issue, and we have in the city of Fargo, dating back 10 years or so, have been trying to take advantage of some opportunities in the area of what we think is green or renewable energy, and it's landfill methane gas and things like that are available to us. I think there are more opportunities out there. I can't describe what each of those are at this point in time, but I like the continuing to pursue that. The energy efficiency or conservation piece is a little more puzzling to me because I don't really reside in the building codes and inspections area and those types of things, but it just seems to me that this is kind of a two-pronged topic.
Thanks, Bruce. Other comments?
Well, I think that, that it covers a lot of that. I agree with what Bruce is saying as far as that they're not mutually exclusive, though they really complement each other, and the city is doing both and wants to continue to do both. But I think part of what this process is going to do is analyze our building codes and our land use strategies to see how we can be more efficient with, so it's not just about energy, land use and efficiency work together too. So even if you don't have more efficient cars, if you can reduce the amount of time they have to drive them, it saves people a lot of money. Same with energy efficiency. We did Carl Peterson works with NDSU Extension on energy efficiency, and even though the city or the North Dakota state kilowatt hour charge is less than Minnesota, it average rates like 7 cents here. In Minnesota, it's like 9 cents. But their total utility bills are less on average than ours are, which means that if we just improved our energy efficiency in Fargo by 20% for our residents, they'd save about $7 million a year. So it's a big deal.
And that kind of raises another question about, I don't know if there's a way to work this into the statement, but there's the way that there's actions that the city can take for its own facilities and its own operations, and then there's actions that the city can take or policies the city can make, programs to help those of us that live here to be more energy efficient or to use energy in a more in a conservation way. And I'm not saying that very well, but it seems that there's the government approach to it, and then there's whatever the city can do broadly within private sector and within, for the homeowner and that kind of thing. That, I don't know if this hits on that or not, but it's something to think about.
Good, thank you. I think we'll move on to guiding principles for health. The principle here, Fargo will encourage healthy choices and improve the health of its residents by enhancing awareness and through increased year-round recreational opportunities and access to healthy food. Comments? To me, I think a big one on this one is actually this idea of enhancing awareness, community education, making people understand that there are actually maybe opportunities out there. I think that's a big one, making people aware of the importance of healthy food, and not only access, but understanding of that as well, the importance of exercise and those kind of things. But clearly, we're wanting to make sure that we've got those opportunities as well. I think that's what you're seeing woven throughout this particular guiding principle.
I think also some of the verbiage with some of the health things coming out now are to make the healthy choice the easy choice. So getting the awareness out is one thing, but then also having policies that drive the walking trails and some of those kinds of things is also important. So I thought, I don't know if you...
Jim, if I can make a comment.
Yeah.
Under the health section, one of Fargo's greatest assets is its healthcare and access to it. And so I think it should be in there that somewhere maintain that access to healthcare. I know there's been a lot of talk about Sanford and their new building and what they're going to move from downtown, what that means for North Fargo residents and their access to healthcare. Just kind of maintain that access to healthcare would be great.
Great comment. Thanks, Rocky. Jan?
As I look at health, I think that one of the huge advantages of our community that we overlook all the time is what a safe community it is. And I'm wondering if safety is certainly a role of the city to provide, protection in terms of fire and police. But I wonder if safety needs to be addressed in the health as well, or if I'm not seeing it somewhere else. But I wonder if we should address safety as a goal.
Cindy?
A thought that comes to mind with this because of the reference to healthy food is I facilitated one of the groups at the public information meeting and looked at a lot of the comments on Mind Mixer. And a lot of the things that we were seeing on Mind Mixer and hearing at that meeting reflected sort of this national trend to grow our own food, locally grown food, to take advantage of our yards, as a place where food can be grown organically and that sort of thing. And it's kind of exciting. I think there's a whole social undercurrent to that a lot of us aren't even aware of. And it's it kind of harkens back to our grandparents and everything and our parents, but it's being captured and embraced by the youth, by young people. And based on what John said, I think that's a huge area of interest right now of the youth.
And looking at that, so, the locality of it, so along with healthy food, maybe the healthy local food or something might cover some of what you're talking about, just by adding the local part.
Yeah.
By promoting and supporting local food. But I totally agree, it is a huge movement nationwide, and we're really starting to see it pick up here too.
And that fits into the energy savings and not having to haul that food from
One advantage, we already have a farmer's market, to maybe do a better job of promoting that and maybe relocating it so it's in a more accessible place. The other thing is, we don't need to go very far to see where the food is grown, like about 3 miles away. So it's not like it's some exotic place. So there's a lot of advantages we already have, and maybe just to do a better job using what we have.
I look at that last line and think of farmer's market as well, and I think we have none.